when we talk about the funeral industry in terms of why it's been slow to change, I think about these big, monstrous funeral homes and
Sure,
very
yeah.
elaborate
Yep,
and
yep.
intricate wood. You have a different aesthetic here. You're
Right.
not in a gigantic building. These are important questions and observations for
Yeah.
you.
Well, and as you guys know, if you're fans of this fine lady, she's a top of her game. She's an expert. Stick with her for sure. She's a
Well, thank
excellent
you.
heck of an expert in all the categories
Well,
of
thank you.
these things. But you're right. The almost like the paradigm we say of the traditional funeral home are all those things. It's very somber, a lot of closed doors and doilies and things like that. A traditional funeral home can seem kind of daunting and imposing, and makes a lot of assumptions on what you want to do anyway. So our context alone, we're in a neighborhood plaza here where we've since 2016, if people have walked in and said, wow, I don't feel weird here. I don't feel like I should be on my guard or clutching something or whatever, because we're very disarming.
Yes.
Our neighbors' wine kits, they're great people. People make wine next door. We have a pharmacy and a Chinese food. We're just in the neighborhood. So at the core of everything that we're going to ever do is connected to, sadly, someone's passed away. So we're always stuck with that. But it's the idea that we're not stuck with that paradigm that has been expertly designed and built and maintained for generations, that when someone died, you went to a place like this and you did these things and it cost this much. That's it.
Is this a direction whose time has come?
Oh yeah.
And how far behind do you think the industry is to what the public may have been demanding or asking for without much response?
Yeah. I wish I knew like the number of years, but I think it's literally years behind. And again, the analogy of the massive ship that has to turn, it does turn, but it just turns very slowly and efficiently, but it turns slowly, where a smaller vessel like us, we're more limber type of thing. I think of 20 years ago when I started as a funeral director. I remember just being the new guy, listening to the manager I was working for, and he was mad about it was going to cost, I think, $1,700 that year for the Yellow Pages ad.
Right.
That's how you found the funeral home, was you went to the Yellow Pages. That's called a phone book. Remember that?
Yeah, remember that?
And at the same time, there was a web page for the funeral home that I worked for, and someone had really pushed to make that happen. I heard other older, wiser veterans of the funeral industry saying, who the heck needs a website? Why would anyone put an obituary online, whatever online means? And so that was 20 years ago, of course. So, and you can't curse people for not realizing that the internet wasn't a fad. It wasn't like the pet rock. It was the beginning of forever, I guess, really. So here we are all these years later. If you had a funeral home without a website, who's going to find you?
Right.
If you're not posting their obituaries online, people will be upset. It's completely different there. But it took years for funeral homes to catch up on that. So now here we're live. Our use of social media is we're speaking directly to you, the people, introducing ourselves to you, answering your questions, without you even needing to drive across town and make an appointment and sit down in a room. And so it's a lot freer.